Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm not going to use microphone because I don't need any music for this session today, because this is going to be quite informative with regards to helping anyone with knee pain and wanting to create better knee strength. So I'm going to make it quite workshoppy in a way, give you lots and lots of information with regards to ways in which you can help. Obviously, there could be a million reasons as to why you might be experiencing knee pain, but I'm going to kind of focus this more around arthritis. I myself have got kind of onset arthritis, especially in this knee, and I'm going to focus it more around that and ways in which you can help from here. Good morning, Dawn. So I'm going to just teach you a couple of things about how to help to alleviate your knee pain. And then I'm going to give you some exercises which will help with regards to strengthening the knee and surrounding the knee. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Belinda. Good morning, good morning. So I'm not going to have any music in the background. Feel free, if you want it, you can do some of this with me, or you can kind of almost just make notes if you want to watch. And then, you can do this as part of kind of your own little rehabilitation, prehabilitation in a way, anytime that you want to. So kind of my favorite tools here are going to be the spiky ball. I'm going to use a long band and hey, Lynn, hi and bye. And something that you can use to cushion the knee, to put underneath it. So I'm going to use another mat, but you could use a cushion, you could use a rolled up towel, anything that you want to, okay? So first of all, gang, obviously with regards to the knees, the knee joint is a hinge joint, and essentially the movements available at that knee joint are flexion and extension. So we shouldn't really be doing anything which twists the knee or tries to kind of rotate the knee in any way, shape or form. Generally, as a rule of thumb, if you have an inflammatory disease like arthritis, then obviously when you're experiencing high inflammation, my rule is that you never exercise during a flare-up. So if you're having a major flare-up and your knee is very swollen and it's very painful and it feels hot to touch and it looks red, then absolutely categorically do not exercise. It's not a no pain, no gain or kill or cure kind of thing. You do not exercise with it. So rest it, elevate it, ice it, give it some time during that flare-up. However, if this is just general inflammation that you've kind of always got, then absolutely it's fine to exercise on it. You might want to think about taking things which are a natural anti-inflammatory. Turmeric is one of my favorites, and you can make yourself a turmeric paste. I make this for Bentley now because obviously he suffers with arthritis and he's got problems with regards to his cruciate ligaments in his knees. And obviously he's overweight, so there's a huge amount of weight pressing down on there, causing those knees to be even worse. So you can make a golden, called a turmeric golden paste. You can Google this, or I can actually post this into the group, where you're using coconut oil, black pepper and turmeric, and you heat the turmeric and the black pepper until it comes into a paste. Add coconut oil into it, let it cool down, and then you can use that as a paste, and you can use that as, like a garnish, or not garnish, that's the wrong word, as a coating onto meat if you have it, so like chicken or steak or pork, anything like that, or you can use it within as a sauce within other foods, and you can have it like that. I put it directly onto Bentley's food, but obviously it's not just for dogs, it can be definitely used for humans as well. Now, if the turmeric paste doesn't sound very nice for you, and it is really nice on things like steak and chicken, but obviously I know not everyone eats those foods, then obviously you can get turmeric tea, And you can take turmeric, or you can put turmeric into, I used to put turmeric into my ginger shots. So I used to have ginger, turmeric, and lemon as my ginger shots. And you can have that in your shot, you can have it in your smoothies, you can have it in your juices, or if you really, really can't handle having it in any foods like that or any drinks like that, then you can take a supplement, but make sure it's a good quality supplement. Be aware as well, obviously, if you are suffering with inflammation, then if you're putting lots of inflammatory foods and drinks into the body, that's going to make it worse. So if you're having a flare-up or if you're suffering a lot, then essentially having lots of inflammatory foods are not going to help you. So you want to avoid the caffeine, you want to avoid the stimulants, the alcohol, you want to avoid high amounts of sugar, because all of these things will cause that inflammation to be worse. All right, so there's just a little bit of lifestyle factors which can kind of help you for sure on there. No problem, Helen, that's absolutely fine. And then let's think about things that we can do to help. So first and foremost, I want to reduce the tension around the knee. And I'm pointing at this one all the time because this is my bad one. But obviously you would do this on both sides. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the spiky ball, and we're going to use it under the foot. And you might be thinking, well, Kelly, we're talking about the knee. Why are you starting with the feet? What are you doing? But obviously, with regards to our kinetic chain and the fascia that covers the whole of the body, the feet are essentially the first pinnacle point. So with anyone who wants to increase mobility or increase or decrease, tension within every areas of the body, the feet are the foremost point in there. Anyone who wants to improve their posture, we would start with releasing the feet. There is literally only one type of person that you shouldn't do trigger point spiky ball on with the feet, and that is a pregnant woman who doesn't want to give birth just yet. Because there are points in the feet, literally like reflexology points, that can induce labour. So obviously if that woman is not ready to give birth just yet, then you wouldn't do it with her. But with everybody else, it's absolutely fine. So we want to release that foot first of all. And I'm going to move in a linear fashion from front to back. I'm going to work into the arch of my foot. I'm going to work underneath my toes. I'm going to work around the side of my foot and down into the heel as well here. And I'm going to really get that foot to release. So first point of call is to release the tension that you might be holding on to within the feet. So obviously you would do that on both feet because you don't want one side, not to have the same effects on here. And then that way, if there's any tension around the knee and it's being caused by the fact that the fascia is very tight, we've kind of knocked that on the head straight away. That's kind of been alleviated. So feet first, all right? I want you to always remember that. Feet first. So release those feet. Give those feet a good rub with the spiky ball. We're going to move up, and then I want you to think about, we want to release tension around the knee. So into the calf, the tibialis anterior, which is the muscle in the front of the shin. And then above the knee, we're going to think about releasing tension into the quads, the hamstrings, the inner and outer thighs from here as well. So then if I bring this down into our calf, and we can either use a block or we can use our other foot to rest on from here. In a seated position, I'm going to grab my band and I'm going to put that around my foot. And I'm going to start just to flex and release a little bit. Now, if that felt uncomfortable to put your foot onto your other foot, if you've got a block, and you would have seen this in the block masterclass that I did, you can put your foot on the block either way so that it's elevated And then you're going to move that foot to start bringing this into the Achilles from here. Leaning slightly further forward to get that release. And just until the tension that you might be holding on to within your calf or your Achilles tendon feels like it's gone. So just a little flex and point. We want to then tap into a bit further into the belly of the calf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the foot flexed and I'm going to turn the toes out to the side. So flexed foot, turn the toes out, and all of a sudden now I'm getting more of a stretch into the belly of this calf. Now my knee will always track with my foot. So as I turn my foot out, my knee has gone with it. If your knee doesn't go with it, there's something seriously wrong, all right? It means that your knee is probably dislocated. So your knee will always track with your foot as it turns out. I want to then tap into what I said earlier, the tibialis anterior, the muscle in the front of the shin, and I'm turning my foot inwards. So I've brought my foot onto this internal position and I'm leaning further forward. I'm going to feel that stretch now more in the front of my shin. And that's, again, I'm going to hold that stretch, maybe work through the two until any tension that I'm feeling in my shin or my calf has been alleviated. I can actually then stretch out the back of my knee, and this is quite important. So first of all, I'm going to use something to put underneath the back of my knee. And I can do this in a laying position or a seated position. So I'll show it to you in both. So roll up something, put it underneath your back of your knee so that you can push the back of the knee into it. You're going to hold that there for 10 seconds. You relax for just a couple of seconds, and then you're going to repeat. You're going to really flex your foot, push the back of your knee into that cushion, into that rolled up towel, into that mat, whatever you've got, and then release. Hold it for about 10 seconds, and then let it release for a couple of seconds, and then keep repeating. And if you can repeat 6 times or 10 times, absolutely amazing. But you need to be flexing that foot, and you need to be pushing the back of the knee in to whatever you're using so that you're creating length down the back of the knee. Now, if you're going to do that laying, it will look like this. So again, whatever you're using rolled up into the back of the knee, flexing the foot, pushing the back of the knee into whatever you're using. You'll feel all the muscles in the leg tighten. You're going to hold for 10 seconds, relax for a couple of seconds, and you'll repeat again, maybe 6 times, maybe 10 times from there. We can also release the back of the knee using the spiky ball. And we can do this either standing or we can do it laying down on the floor. I'm going to put the spiky ball into the crook of my knee. And I'm going to flex my foot and I'm going to tighten that and hold it so that I've got a bit of compression going on there. Again, if we can hold for about 10 seconds, relax for a couple of seconds, maybe readjust, and then repeat as many times as we wish. Maybe 6 times, maybe 10 times. Now, if your balance isn't that good and you can't stand freely like that, you can absolutely do this down on the floor. Lay yourself flat down. Put the spiky ball into the crook of the knee. Pull your heel towards your bottom. Hold it tight. Again for about 10 seconds. Relax for a couple of seconds. And then repeat. And that will help with regards to the trigger points in the back of the knee. So if the back of the knee itself is really tight, with regards to the ligaments and tendons which are attached in there, that will help to alleviate that as well. Moving up, a lot of people experience tension in their quad, which actually pulls on their knees. The muscles in the front of the thigh. If these are too tight, then again, it's going to play havoc with regards to the knees. So we've got our quad stretches. We can either take our quad stretches laying on the floor flat down. You're going to push your foot into your hand. So the heel comes in towards the bottom, flex the foot into the hand, push the thigh through the floor. Hold for as long as you can feel tension. And then let it relax and maybe repeat it again if you feel like you need to take that second stretch. If laying on your front isn't comfortable for you, then you can absolutely do this laying on your side, pushing forward from here. And then if laying on the side isn't appropriate, or if you prefer, you can do it standing. But make sure that you're pushing your foot into your hand rather than into your bottom. There should always be a gap between your heel and your bum when you do a quad stretch, and your knees want to be in alignment and push that hip forward so you can feel the tension in the quad. With regards to the inner and outer thighs, again, this can make a big difference. So let me just give you a pointer here. If your IT band is very tight, and it's the big ligament that runs from your hip down to your knee on the outside of your thigh, if that is very tight, you get a thing called runner's knee, where you get pain on the inside of your knee in here, okay? So what we would do there is we need to stretch out that outer part of the leg. So again, I would definitely be using a band or a strap for this. We do these a lot in my classes, laying on your back and pulling all the way over, bending the knee as much as you need to so you can feel the stretch going down. So for me personally, when I straighten my leg, I can feel the stretch coming more down the outside, rather than when I bend my knee, I can feel it more in my bottom. But all of that area needs to be stretched out. So alternate between a bend and a straight, because it's really important to give those glutes a stretch as well from the outside of the leg. Our hamstring stretches are really important. Again, hence why we do them so much in my classes. But again, these are really important with regards to alleviating, because it does, obviously, the hamstrings come right down to the back of the knee, and this will help to release tension in here. So again, holding the stretch wherever you feel comfortable until you feel like that's alleviated. Again, you could bend and straighten in those positions. And then obviously, if the outside of the thigh is tight, it pulls on the inside of the knee. If the inside of the thigh is tight, it can pull either on the outside or into the front of the knee. So that's where we've got our abductor stretches. So our little adductors, inner thigh, stretch. Pelvis staying level the whole time, opening that side out, really feeling the stretch in the inner thighs to help alleviate any tension around that knee. So my first point of call is to release any tension around the legs. So we're thinking feet first, we're thinking then the Achilles, the calf muscle, the outside of the shin. We're then thinking quads, we're thinking hamstrings, we're thinking inner and outer thighs. And if you suffer with your knees, this should be like almost like a daily stretch routine that you do, okay? So that you're doing these stretches on a daily basis, maybe first thing in the morning, or, sort of when you've got up and about a little bit and your knees feeling a little bit kind of a bit more mobile, maybe sort of around, 10 o'clock, 10:30, maybe if you do the first class with me, and then you're doing these stretches afterwards for you. So let's now think about knee strength, in ways in which we can actually help to take the pressure off. Again, we want the muscles around the leg to be strong. So first of all, we could do it in a seated position. The other leg can be wherever you feel comfortable. You can take your hands back behind you. I'm going to flex my foot. So instantly put tension into my quad. And then I'm going to lift and lower. So I'm going to take a little lift and lower. Putting tension into the quad, and being aware here that I'm working through those muscles in the front of my thigh, and I'm going to do that to fatigue. If I can repeat it, I'm going to do it again as well. So for the front of the quad, so working through here. I can also work the front of the quad in a side position. So if I bring myself into side lying, but I turn my toes up, I will feel tension into the front of my thigh here, my quad's starting to kick in. Then I can take those leg lifts. So I've got this leg lift here to work through the front of my quad there as well. Obviously, if I'm side lying and then I turn my toes down and heel up, I'm going to get more in the outside of the leg and the bottom. So I can help to strengthen the legs around the knee. Obviously, squats and lunges are amazing for the legs, but I know they're not appropriate for everybody because obviously if you're suffering with knee pain at the time, a lunge or a squat can feel very uncomfortable. So we're going to need to opt for other things. Have a look at any of the lit classes because I don't do any lunges in them. Have a look at any of the lean legs. Again, there's no lunges and there's minimal squats in there, and that'll be effective for you. Alternatively, we can come into a hamstring curl to work the back of the leg. But if that's very, very uncomfortable to kneel on, because your knee does feel uncomfortable, then you can do this in a standing position, holding on to something and curling that heel in. And again, we want to go to fatigue. So until it feels like the muscles have fatigued, you're really putting tension in the back of the legs and the bottom there as well. So working through there, definitely thinking about our quads, definitely thinking about our hamstrings as well. Obviously, if you can take a squat, and squats feel good for you, just a couple of things to be aware of with regards to your feet positions in your squats. Feet parallel, wide, is going to work more of your hamstrings. So if you have your feet facing forwards, but you have them quite wide, and you're taking this down into a deep squat, dropping your bum low, head staying up, then you'll be working through the back of the legs. Big squeeze on the bottom when you come to the top, and I want you to really dig your heels in. If we turn our toes out, we work more of our inner thighs and our glutes, the muscles in our bottom. So our adductors and our glutes. And again, taking this down into a deep squat, keeping the body upright, not pushing the bum back or sticking the bum out, dropping the butt down. That's going to work through there. If I bring my feet parallel, but bring them in close together, I mean, they don't have to be as close as me. They don't have to be touching, but a narrow squat position, I'm going to be working more of my quads. It's harder now for my butt not to go back because I've got a narrower position. But if that feels good for you, then absolutely think about those feet positions. My masterclass that I'm delivering on Friday, all about hip mobility without stretching, will also help because you might be suffering with your knees as a knock-on effect of your hip or vice versa. So with regards to the knee, because of the position of it, pain has got to go, or referred pain has got to go somewhere. It either goes down or it goes up. So it either goes down into the foot, the ankle, or it comes up into the hip. So all the hip mobility stuff that I'm going to be doing will also benefit you. From an inner and outer thigh position as well, we want to make sure that we're working through those muscles. So either standing, using support, taking the leg out and in. This can be also done with a Dynaband or an activation band around you. And then bringing the leg in So the heel comes towards the door. I do lots of these with my clients who've got arthritis in their knees. And I do them standing so that the other leg is taking the weight and getting strong there as well. So obviously we do that on both sides, coming out to the side. This other leg is having to take the weight, having to take the support, and then coming in and away. Lunges are amazing, but I know they cause a lot of people grief, and it's normally to do with technique. Once someone learns how to lunge properly, there shouldn't be any pain, whether or not you've got arthritis or, you know, whether or not you've got inflammation within the joint. Obviously, if there is a pathology like cruciate ligament damage or anything like that, then yeah, for sure, these are not going to be appropriate for you. But if you can learn proper technique for your lunges, you'll find that this will definitely make a difference for you. This is where I use something under my knee. So I use another mat rolled up, so I've got a nice bit of cushion here, or you could use, again, a rolled up towel or a cushion, a pillow underneath the knees. Bringing the legs then into 2 right angles. So one on the front, one on the back. My toes are down, my heel is off, and I push straight up. So I'm pushing up from here, coming into this deep lunge. What happens is when someone lunges with bad technique, and especially if they step forward into their lunge, they will often find that hurts because of the movement that they're doing. So this is why you'll see I take the lunge back quite a lot, because I don't want people to lean forward. I want them to stay upright and take the lunge backwards in those positions. But if a lunge isn't great for you, then absolutely you can do any of the other leg exercises, like I've just said, standing for the outer thigh. You could do standing for the glutes, standing for the inner thigh, kneeling, side lying, or seated. And they're all going to be super beneficial to help strengthen around. Obviously, if you're staying with me and we're doing lean legs and we're doing our lit, which are on the timetables quite a lot, then this will all massively help you. But the stretches definitely need to be something that you're doing on a regular basis, even if it's just releasing the feet with a spiky ball and then putting the spiky ball behind the back of the knee and releasing the knee, or doing that one where I was either seated or laying with something under the back of the knee and a 10-second hold release. Even if you just do that within your own little workouts, or after you've done one of my workouts to really help, will massively benefit. If you're finding that the stretches and the strength work isn't helping in any way, shape or form, it's not making your knees better or stronger, or you're feeling a benefit from it, then you definitely need to go and seek more professional advice, because there could be something else going on. So there might be damage, like I said, with regards to the ligament. There could be damage with regards to the cartilage in there, and you might need, a physio or an osteo to actually have a little look a little bit deeper, possibly, bit of keyhole surgery in there if it is to do with cartilage. But definitely the knees take a knock-on effect, because essentially they're, like I said, they're just a hinge joint, and they take the brunt of your weight. So think about lifestyle, think about inflammation, think about things that you can do to help to reduce inflammation, think about stretching, and think about strengthening. And all of these things will keep your knees stronger for longer. I really hope that's been helpful, gang. I know it wasn't really a workout. It was more of a kind of a workshopy information little class today. But I hope that's been beneficial for you. And any questions that you've got, please don't hesitate to post below. Otherwise, gang, I'm going to be live at 9:15 doing our lit, which will be definitely beneficial on what we just talked about. I'm going to be using the activation band and I'm going to be using body weight for our lit session. So this is our low intensity interval training. And if you want to join me for that one, and there's going to be no lunges, there's going to be no essentially jumping or impact or anything like that. So if you do suffer with your knees, it's going to be perfect for you. Thanks, Linda. I'm glad you found that interesting. Claire, I'm so pleased you found that was great. Dawn said that was brilliant. Kelly, very useful. My pleasure. And any questions, just like I said, let me know. All right. I'll see you back in 15 minutes, gang. And we'll have the mic on and we'll have the music on and we'll be working out. All right. See you back in a bit.